some sort of Hexacan?
Welcome, everyone. Oh, we got Tap in the house.
Oh, he made it. Tap, you
What's
there?
going on, brothers? Yo, that intro is fucking fire, man.
Dude, isn't that awesome? That's all
That's funny
Dan.
as fuck.
Oh, he made
That
it.
is.
Oh, there's a big delay.
Yo, that intro is fucking fire, man.
Dude,
Oh, I'm hearing myself.
Me too.
Yep.
What's happening?
I think one of you has got the stream playing in the background, or maybe I've got the stream playing in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
I don't
it's
have
not
the
me.
stream. It's not me.
I think one of you has got the stream.
It might be me. Hold up.
Some technical issues going on right now. Sorry, guys.
Welcome, everyone, to the Worst Damn Crypto Show, period.
That's why it's called that.
I'm your host, Romanian's Glenn. I got with me Hexter Morgan 369, and it's the Hexy Bastard, baby.
Oh, yeah. Cheers for having me, boys. Yo, this stream
Hey.
is going to be fire. I can tell.
Big,
Oh,
big,
man.
big congratulations are in order for Hexy Bastard. I believe, was it yesterday? You just got 1K subs?
10K? No, 1K.
Oh, 10K. Sorry. Oh, did I say 10K?
1K.
Well, I was.
I
Yeah,
got 1,000 subs a few days ago. Yeah, it
I
was
was
a few days
thinking.
ago.
I was thinking end of year subscription. That's probably why I said 10K.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. 10K by end of year. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. But
Congrats,
yeah,
man.
it was quite a good milestone. Like, I'm not going to lie, man. I was pretty proud of that. I did a 6.5-hour stream yesterday to celebrate.
I know.
Split
I
into
tried to
two
hop
parts.
in. I tried to hop in. I like to watch it. I was working all day. I couldn't get to it, but that's awesome.
Yeah. I did it at a weird time for me as well. I never usually stream that early. So that's kind of why it was able to go on for so long. I started streaming at like 3 PM over here or something. And I was just going till, well, I had a little break in the middle, but I think I was going till like midnight or something, you know?
So when you started streaming, because I remember when you started, because I remember those videos you had when you're in the backyard. Remember that, the snow and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Was viewers something you were after? Like,
No, not really. I mean, I was just trying to crack jokes, and so I already kind of got my crowd on lock. My crowd is the UK Hexicans, man. I fucking love those guys. I'm like chatting in their chat room all day, every day, and really, it's kind of them that I'm going after. Everyone else is just like a byproduct, but nah, not really, man. I don't give a shit about the clout or anything. I just try and make people laugh, and if people like it, then yeah, great. And I mean, lately I've pissed a few people off as well, but you know, it just goes with the comedy side of things. So yeah.
Well, I know. I got some video coming later. I actually started recording stuff before we got on stream today.
All right.
And I'm gonna be rocking a couple of the German accent for it, but it's gonna be. I think ittle be funny. I hope
you got
funny.
a Cryptomatic cameo come in, DJ Cryptomatic.
it's about Cryptomatic.
Is it? Okay. Looking forward to that one.
But I already messaged him ahead of time. I talked to him early. I was like, hey man, this is what I want to do. I want to show your stuff because we want to show people stuff on our channel. That's the thing. Me and Dan and Tap were like, well, we want to have sponsored segments going forward. But like this sponsor, well, you tell him, Dan. What are we trying to do? That stuff.
This segment may or may not be brought to you by hexybastard.com. Do you have a website? I saw you guys.
Yeah. Hexybastard.com, man. That's my website.
There we
I've
go.
actually got a website now. But yeah, just find me on Twitter or on YouTube. If you type Hexybastard, you can't miss it because there's only really me.
Well, going forward, we're gonna be able. We'll have little things where we'll have your Twitter come up and all that shit. And we're just gonna show people stuff because we're the worst crypto show. So we're leaving all that to the other people that want to do that stuff.
Yeah. Sounds good, man.
So what's up first today, Dan?
I have no idea. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's do. What about the big Hedron launch?
Okay.
So first thoughts.
Free money.
Well, initially I wasn't gonna even touch the code or anything, but then I couldn't help myself, the free money, and then like you said, I think Wales said it was good. A bunch of OG Hexicans were like, "All right, read the code, it looks good." So then I had to try the read only option, and yeah, mint some. I think I had 30 stakes. I spent about $300, like 280 or something like that to mint all that Hedron. But I mean, I didn't mint it. I just claimed it for now.
Oh yeah,
Same.
Did you claim everything, Hexy?
I just claimed basically everything. There was a couple of stakes where it really just did. I mean, to be honest, I should have just done the math really, because the amount I'm going to get off these, I probably could have just bought like a giant moon bag of it and been done with it. But yeah, I just claimed on everything because there's a potential to get an even higher bonus at a later date. And I can't remember exactly what triggers it, but if there's more like loaned than there is in the system, then they have to do like a bonus minting event or day, so you get an even bigger bonus. So if you get your 10x, and then you get an even bigger bonus on top of that as well. So yeah, a lot of people are potentially just going to wait for that day, but I've just claimed it for now because the way I see it as well is it's like it's free money and you're getting absolutely fucking millions of these tokens, right?
Oh, I know. Oh yeah.
Even if it's just a penny that they reach one day, it's going to be worth so much money for us guys. Like, you got to take the free money, man. Like,
well, I think what's interesting is now we had like a huge rush of maxed out stakes yesterday.
There's like I think it was it like 1,000 stakes that got done in the last 24 hours?
I don't know if it was 1,000, but it's just interesting to see, like, okay, now it looks like Hex is getting, or maybe the ecosystem, like let's just say the RH ecosystem we're starting to see projects come in now and go live, and I think it's a good thing for Hedron personally, because it's like, well, this is a protocol being built on top of Hex, and maybe that'll help some people that were so afraid to get into it before, get away from the whole scam narrative. If there's people out there trying to build things around it to make Hex better than it already is. We already know it's the best store value there is, but I'm just super pumped to see way more stakes. We just went over 81K for the first time today in the Staker app. I don't know if you guys saw that, because I saw Wales's tweet, and I remember, like, I've seen us hit 80K before, but I've never seen us go over the 81K.
Yeah, but another thing as well, right? So I understand the argument against it, but the argument against it is something that you'd have to deal with like years down the line. It's nothing going to affect us now, but the amount of pumpage we're going to get as a result of this, because people are going to want to do their 15-year stakes so that they can lock it, because now they know they can access some liquidity. They're going to be a lot more eager to throw it out there for 15 years. I know that's what I'm thinking now, is like, well, I might as well just only do 15-year stakes, really, because I'm going to get some value out of it as time goes on anyway. Especially if you've already got your staking ladder and stuff.
Well, yeah, because with the Hedron, if you run that HSI instance on it, where you can just mint, if you're 2 years into a 15-year stake, you can mint all that Hedron up for the 2 years, right? Yep. You can just mint up to the day that you've accumulated Hedron. But I don't think I'm going to be doing any of the NFT wraps or anything. Like, I think the first NFT wrap was what, 50 ETH or something. Somebody put 1.6 T shares and wrapped it as an NFT and put it up for sale. It was like 50 ETH or something, like $1.2 million for a 15-year stake.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's the first use case for an NFT I've seen delivered that isn't just a stupid monkey picture, right?
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, Tap or Dan? Sorry.
I think I might use it to, like, say if it's someone's birthday and I want to send them, give them a bit of Hex to stake, maybe I could just stake something for them and send it to them, like, as an encapsulated stake or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
there are some like things with it that are bullish. I understand the negatives, but I just think so many people are going to be locking up Quattro Cinco now. It's just the benefits of that far outweigh it for me. So,
well, what was the biggest complaint? Was it that if I pushed out a 15-year stake and then offloaded it right away, they're saying that you're cheating, like the time value of Hex? Is that what the biggest argument was?
Yeah. It's kind of like against it because you're extracting value out of it before you've served the time that you said you would. But in theory, you haven't, because the Hex is still staked.
That's what I mean. That's where I'm confused, because it's like, let's say I go 15 years and I sell it on the open market as an NFT to someone who's buying it with whatever. It could be ETH. That has no effect on the Hex that's locked, right? Yep. And I'm not going to get full rate for a 15-year stake if I'm only 2 years in. Like, maybe maybe I'd be incentivized because I could say, hey, I have a claim bonus on the stake. There's 10x per day that hasn't been minted yet. No Hedron's been minted on it. So you have that bonus. But I don't see how the value is being pulled away from Hex in that sense, because that person's
It's
paying for it
not.
with something else and they still have to wait. So if that person buys it and takes ownership of that stake, they still have to wait the 15 years. And if they do EES it, if they overpaid to EES, well, odds are I'm still going to have a shit ton of stakes and I'm going to be collecting all those penalties if they dump it on the open market, right? The system still works.
It might even, if people do the emergency end stakes, that's great for us. Like,
Yeah.
really in the long term. So
What do you think, Dan?
I'm fine with it.
I'm kind of lost on this whole idea because I don't really understand the whole concept of everything. So when you buy a encapsulated stake on the secondary market, you actually own the 555 stake going forward. How does that
So
work?
there's three. So the way I have explained Hedron to people is there's three instances of the protocol, right? So your basic read-only contract where you say, hey, I give you permission to look at my stakes and you allow me to mint X amount of Hedron throughout that stake. And then the second option is you can take an advance, the HSI, the Hex stake instance, I think it's called. So you will essentially buy you could take a loan, or they like not a loan, an advance. So say you were entitled to 1,000 Hedron at the end of your stake. You can mint those Hedron right away when your stake starts, taking an advance, but you would owe interest on that 1,000 Hedron. So you're still going to mint 1,000 Hedron when that stake ends. You may owe like 1,010 or something to pay off the advance. And then the other option is tokenizing as an NFT. So you could run the HSI and encapsulate a stake and trade it as an NFT or sell it to somebody, and then whichever address purchases it, that smart contract, that stake is tied to that address now. It's basically just a transfer of ownership. So for me, like, I'm not going to be doing any. Depending on the price of Hedron too, right? We have no idea what it's going to go to, but I don't foresee myself taking any advances or using an NFT unless I'm doing what Hexy's saying is maybe you can send it to people like a gift or something.
Mhm.
Like there's you locked up a 555 for somebody for maybe you put 1,000 hex in and max it out and send it to somebody. But
yeah. Mango Junkie said in the chat there, it's called the AMR bonus, advancement
AMR.
ratio bonus.
Okay.
Yeah. So like basically if the system state gets like too over collateralized in the sense that too many people have loaned on it, then they do a little bonus to encourage people to mint and ideally sell. And so it's a pretty cool. I just think it's going to follow the B share chart. Basically.
Eventually you think it would if it reaches. I don't think parity is the right word, but if its distribution model is every B share you have is equal to one Hedron essentially, right? Because that's what you get. If you have one B share, you can mint one Hedron.
Yep.
So who knows what it's going to do? But it's interesting. I think
so. You might see it just match that price somehow, because you could go and sell it on the open market for like the same, or buy. There's just some like arbitrage opportunities there that my head can't quite get around. But I know that people are thinking this. Much smarter people than me are thinking about this, and they're going to do it. So as a result of that, I just think you'll see it go up over time. So I will potentially buy a little moon bag of it as well, like I say. So
I think you're crazy not to claim. I really do. You have to claim
it. Yeah, for sure. Like that, you have to claim it, man. Especially if you've got long stakes. If you've only got short stakes, then maybe it's not worth it, right? Because the gas fees and stuff. But when I was claiming it earlier today, it was between like $6 and $8 a stake. So it's not too bad.
Mine
Right?
was $12 is like the highest I paid. But I think $15 was the highest I paid.
Yeah, I think that I got caught on one of them as well. But it's like, it's not too bad, right? Because let's say you got to think, if it's worth more than $6 in the future, then it's profit, right?
You're good. That's what someone said the other day. Like, well, man, it's like $12. I'm like, what's $12 now in 2 years? Like, you're either going to pay 100. You're either going to pay. Oh, I said that to Dan yesterday when we were talking. Actually,
Yeah.
What's $300 today worth? What it could be worth in a year, 2 years, 5 years time, right?
Just imagine this, like that whole bag that
you
spent $100 claiming is now worth like 50 grand.
Okay, yeah, we got to remember this moment because this could be one of the pizza things. It's like didn't want to spend $300 on gas. Okay, that opportunity cost could be a lot. It could be a lot.
Yeah.
I can't see the chat, so my bad if people are saying things, but yeah, and I can't pull up their comments, but
Hexy can see the chat.
I can
you
see the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's worth investing $300 in the upside opportunity there for sure.
So I think the next thing we can go to here was I wanted to talk about the God Whale sack for liquid loans.
Yeah.
Just to get some thoughts on it.
Did
Well,
you guys
Dan, you
get
want to
in
go
this
first
one?
on this one? Liquid
Well,
loans,
I
I
was.
did.
You did? Okay. I
Yep.
didn't really do any research on it. I wasn't going to use the product, so I'm not gonna. If I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna sell the PLS. I'm not gonna loan it out or whatever.
Oh, you're not going to use the loan function just
No.
in case you get an opportunity to buy it back at a lower price, just in case, you know?
Just a little
Nah.
tinkle, just a little taste.
It's kind of like, because the way I say, okay, so just talking about the sack face thing for a minute. So that is a pretty bold statement, you know, chucking $6 million at something, right? That's a lot of money, man. Like, I know he's a billionaire, so to him it's like me chucking a tenner at it, but like, still, that's a lot of money, man.
My original thought was, okay, I think it's good for the ecosystem in general on Pulse, but then also remember he just staked $195 million for 15 years with Hex a week ago. Right?
Yeah, that's another thing as well. It's
So when you
mad.
look at yeah, but like Hex is still, if you just looked at like the RH ecosystem, let's call it, for example, and forget about the Ethereum that he has, and let's look at his portfolio with Hex and maybe stuff going on to Pulse chain. That's like 95% of the portfolio in Hex, right? So yeah, it is $6 million, but if you look at it just from a math perspective, it's still a smaller portion of his bag. But I still think it is bullish long term for liquid loans. I don't think, even if it is $6 million, it's still $6 million, right? Like, I think people with that much money, they appreciate their money. They know how to use their money. So I think it's bullish.
So you guys will
liquid
use this
loans.
product, let's say 3, 4, 5 years down the road. You want to sell some Pulse. You're gonna use.
I didn't sacrifice to use the product. I sacrificed to stake the loan token to receive fees from people that use the product.
I'm still on the fence about whether to sack or not, only because the Hex price is still quite good, and I don't have enough T shares yet. No one ever has enough T shares, but I really
never
don't
have
enough T shares.
They'll never have enough. Never. It's always.
Yeah, the God Whale's got enough T shares. Someone told me that he's going to be making like 200K a day yield.
We did the math.
Price.
We did the math last week actually on the show, and we had, what was it, 1 point something, was it around $1 million a week or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like 270K a day. So
yeah,
almost $1 million a week.
Yeah. Not a bad day at the office for sure.
But it brings up the question though, like how will he ever actually take any of that value out?
He won't. Well, I mean, he will.
Know.
I will at some point, but it's like.
But you can transfer it to other things and take it out. You can swap it for other coins in the future,
but that's the point of Hex long term. If it is that, if Bitcoin was that, like, look at Bitcoin right now, right? What if you were in Bitcoin at the 1 cent and you had billions upon billions of Bitcoin? Like, do you just say, well, I got to put it somewhere, or do you keep it in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Because why would you take it out of Hex? Like,
not all of it.
Not all of it. Well, obviously, yeah, you're obviously going to take some, but how much do you need is what I'm getting at. Not how much. Like, obviously, anyone's entitled to take whatever they want. It's your money. If you make insane gains like that, congratulations. It's just, how much would you actually need?
I don't know, man. Like, I'd be happy with taking $1 million out, really.
Well, that's for us, right? It's like, okay, I get $1 million, you get that $1 million out. But if you have an asset like that performing for you, literally just printing money, that is the golden goose. Like, if you're in Hex long enough, you'll get to that point years down the line where it's like, I'm not selling any principal. You may not need to.
Well, that's why I'm so happy that there's all these other things available to us now, like Pulse Chain, PulseX, XPulseX, Hedron. There's the loan, the liquid loans thing is like, I think I might sacrifice a little bit for it, but the same reason as you, just to get that loan token, maybe mint some of the USDL. I don't know. I don't know though, because it's just like at the moment with the Hex price so low, it's like you could just buy that and that's going to moon for you, and you almost know that's going to moon for you.
And get the free copy too. I mean,
yeah.
I'm still buying Hex, but if it's just, I look at it as like, okay, when I got into crypto, I never had the opportunity. Like, you and me weren't. None of us here were OG Hexicans, right? None of us were in day zero. So just the opportunity to get in something that is going to be running on a Richard Hart project. Well, it's called like the blockchain, right? Just the ability to get into Pulse Chain early and the ability to get in Pulse X early, and now Hedron and Liquid Loans. It's like I can't not. That's the way I looked at it. I didn't put nearly in as much as I did for everything else, right? I went way heavier into Pulse and Pulse Chain. That this is just another thing. It's like, well, the rate $1 for 10,000 coins. I kind of had to do it, and I didn't sell any hex for it either. I'd been dollar cost averaging, just moving, getting into stable coins, waiting for it. So I got lucky with that. But I just think it's an opportunity, right? They don't want to miss it. We don't know, and I hope it does well. Like you want projects to do well, and I think the guys have. I understand the complaints that are out there. I've seen the complaints, and I get it, but I think they've tried to put their best foot forward, and they've come on streams all the time. I've watched tons of streams with them. They seem pretty open. They engage the community. We'll see how it goes.
The only complaint I really heard is people were angry. For some reason, I don't understand this, right? But people were angry that people were selling down the hex price, right? People were getting pissed off with that. Yeah. I think that's wonderful. Cheers, guys, because I bought the dip. Like, I think that's great. Like, keep selling it, man. Sell that bottom. Sell that fucking bottom.
It's like you got to look at what's going on and what's coming, right? It's like, okay, Pulse Chain's on the way. These guys want to get these projects launched. Like, could they have waited until after Pulse launches, or do you want to be ready to go right away? I know Liquid Loans isn't launching right away, but it's like, okay, the closer Pulse gets, these guys need to have some type of phases. Do they not? Like, what's the alternative? Let Pulse launch and then they don't launch, then they wait 2 or 3 months for other people to build on it. Kind of like a first mover thing, right?
Yeah. They're going to be ready, aren't they? Immediately.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I mean. Like the timing, you like it or not, we need people to build on Pulse Chain if we want people to come over there. We can't. Yeah, they will. But you want to get there first too, right?
Yeah.
I think they want to get there first. So yeah, I'm with you, Hexy. Like I love it. If I can keep accumulating anything pre-fork, I'm good with. I'll just keep buying as much as I can. I was gonna go to Vegas. I'm not going anymore because I'm putting that money into X. Or I put that money into X already.
Yeah, man. I got to go down London again this weekend, and I was just like, no, I can't, man. It's just too fucking expensive.
How many meetups do you guys having?
We're having loads, man. The UK is
London.
We love it. We just love it, mate. We love it. No, we're having like at least one a month, but we were kind of doing them dotted around the UK. It's just that the only reason we're doing another one in London now is because Funding Jim's coming over and he wants to meet people. So, you know, your Hexlands down there is just easy. She just sets it up, and there's
something about those Brits, man. People are just drawn to you guys over there. Maybe because they know Richard's over in Europe and they think he could. There's a chance
he might turn up one day to the Weatherspoons that we're at.
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. He could.
Yeah, I love your intro when it goes, "Is this London?" or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's Hexacologist. That is.
Oh man,
yeah, shout out that guy.
I was walking around the house this morning, just, "Is this London?" I got like a 5-month-old baby looking at me like, "What the hell's going on?"
You sound like you're from London. What's that movie from? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, whatever it's called. Something about Sarah Marshall.
No idea. Maybe.
Oh, I know
Russell
that
Brand.
film.
Yeah, Russell Brand. When the guy's you sound like you're from London. He's like, yes, I am.
You're from London.
Yeah.
No, but like basically, because it was kind of random with the RG meetup as well, because he just came in the group and said, "Hey, I'm coming to London on this kind of date. Do you want to do a meetup or something?" So we were like, "Fuck yeah, we want to do a meetup." So we did that, and that was great. And you know, Funding Jim just messaged the other day; he's also coming over, but I can't make that one. But the guy just texted me today, "Hey, I'll come to where you are." And we'll
that's awesome.
So yeah, I'm gonna meet him anyway, which is really cool.
Did you not meet? You met him at the Hex birthday, right? Because I
think like maybe very briefly, but I didn't really meet him. You know,
I had a good talk with him. I think I talked to him for like half an hour outside the club there. I don't remember most of it.
What do you guys talk about? Jesus, Hex is doing great.
No, I was just trying to get info, right? I'm like, so what's going on, man? How's it going? How's it going? Talking to all these multimillionaires about Hex, trying to get info.
Well, no, that's the thing. He's like he's one of them guys that onboards like whales and shit, right? So one onboard for him's like a 50 for me or more, you know. So man's killing it.
Do you think we maybe see a whale come in before mainnet? Do you think we see any big?
I think a lot of them are DCAing in anyway.
Yeah. I think
Whales don't
RG3
tend
was
to just
talking
do
about
big
it.
buys like that. Do
What
they?
was our? What were
Sorry,
you
go on,
saying,
Dan.
Dan?
I think RG3 said he got the people in Robert Kiyosaki's camp, a bunch of them to buy in, and they've been buying it. He didn't drop any names, but it's either Robert Kiyosaki or was it Jason Altman or some? I forget his name. That's not his name.
Yeah,
One
I
of
think
those
you guys
rich
are right.
billionaire guys, real estate guys.
And wouldn't these guys spread their? They'll probably spread all their wallets out too, wouldn't they? That's what I would do.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
Spread out
like
the
I don't think
risk,
they're gonna
yeah.
come in with the one big address with a ton of holdings on it. They might
No.
just every different purchase is a different address. They could just be locking up like, hey, we'll do a 500K purchase locked up, and then just keep coming in.
Yeah, I mean,
Who
Hex
knows?
Whalebot, there's been a bunch of like 300K, 250 all the time lately, the last month or so. Every few
Have you
days,
guys
someone's buying like.
have you guys looked into the Pulse X staking game theory stuff yet?
Oh, mate, I've obviously he's not put a lot out about it, right? But I someone posted in the Hex UK chat about I think it's called Trader Joe's. They use a similar function, right? So you stake the Joe token, you get X Joe. I might be completely wrong about the names here, but
The
then in
Boo
return
token.
for that, you get like the original token back as like a payment for staking that one as well. So it's like you actually get both. You kind of get more of both tokens if you stake more. And it's bullish as fuck. Again,
Dude,
it's just so bullish.
Dan, have you looked in it? Have you seen any of these videos about the staking yet?
I have not. I've seen the screenshot that Richard put out. That's
Yeah,
about
show
it.
some of those
But
screenshots. I'll send it to you. But
I don't have it pulled up. I was looking right now for a meme. Richard put the screenshot, and then someone put like a picture of like someone flicking their private part saying "Don't get up" or something like that. Stay down or something.
look at hard, yeah. Well, man, so
I was
basically,
looking for that,
the
but,
one that I watched, it's actually a pretty new streamer, but he's got a lot of subs already. I can't remember his name right now. I'll post it later, but
Is
I
it
watched
K
it
for
last
K?
night.
He does.
No,
a
it
lot
wasn't
of
K. It
stuff
wasn't
like
K for
that,
K.
no?
No, I remember K for K, but
he's a
so
superstar.
this guy's strategy was if you stake, if the auto staking feature. Did you guys see this? So
No.
I can't say, I don't know for sure if this is going to be implemented or not, but it looks like it could be. So if you stake Pulse X to earn the incentive token, right? The strategy would be to every time you receive that incentive token, you sell it as passive income. And 70% of that sale would go back into buying Pulse X, and 30% would be sell for you to do whatever you want with, like a passive income type thing. But the point is, with Pulse X being deflationary, you keep buying your bags up every single time. So you literally, and then with this auto staking features, there's two of them. So there's you could do it by yourself, right? You could just say, okay, I want to stake it in, and you just put it in. You can take it out at any time. There's no risk to you because you're just leaving it locked in the pool. You're just letting it sit there essentially. So that's the first instance. But the second one is the auto staking function where you could put it in and you can set up. I think it's you can select how many months or whatever, how many days you want to leave it in there, or if you want it to keep auto staking for you. And if you choose that auto staking function, you'll receive more of that incentive token, because that incentive token needs to have some sort of use case, right? Otherwise, it's just an inflationary asset. So that seems super interesting to me. Like just being able to stake this Pulse X, I get more and more excited every time I think about it. Anytime I can.
Well,
stake
no one
coin, I'm
thought that you'd
excited.
be able to stake it and get more,
No,
right? So
no.
it's awesome, mate. Honestly,
Awesome, yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, yeah. And this is a fucking bold statement. And
I know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna get chucked under the bus for this, right?
I
think that Pulse X might outperform Pulse Chain
in the first year, or
yeah.
over time.
Maybe in the first 2 years. I think eventually maybe Pulse Chain does pull away, but you guys have got to remember that Pulse Chain wasn't designed essentially to pump. Like Ethereum wasn't really designed to like pump in the way it does. It's just because of the amount of users. But I feel like Pulse X will pump on its own, even with very few users. That shit's just going to the moon anyway.
You have the buy burn pressure, right? Like
yeah.
it's what is it, 600 million on how much trading is it? $1 billion? Not a billion.
It's like 7% of the total fees.
Yeah.
No, it's 0.7% of the fee or something like that. I can't remember now, but it just depends on the volume going through. And I have a feeling that there's going to be so much arbitrage going on with bots and stuff like that, that even just from the bots, we're going to benefit like fuck, because there's just going to be so much trading going on because of how cheap it is. Like there's going to be space for people to trade for free. People are going to do it, and it will be just bots and things like that moving back and forth. So even if like, and I don't think this will happen, but even if Pulse Chain wasn't that successful in getting a lot of users, Pulse X is still going to moon because of that built-in thing. The only way that Pulse Chain beats it is just through like shitloads of users coming in and stuff like that and buying it up. It hasn't got the automatic buy.
Right. I just remembered what the guy said about the one of his ideas for the incentive token. So I'll run it by you guys. So what he said, you stake your Pulse X, you receive the incentive token. So your first case, like, well, right away, if it's just an inflationary asset, how's it going to find value, right? Because if people keep just making it out of thin air, it's going to be hard for it to have value, right? So what they're saying is you could make a use case for it where you give the holders of that incentive token something like voting rights for a launch pad if Pulse Chain ever has a launch pad, right? Like some of these blockchains, I can't remember all the names of them, but they have launch pads that projects want to come into and they get built on. But if you held this incentive token, you could be essentially vote and say, well, we can vote on which projects we want. So you could have more say in the network of what comes through and what gets passed and what will be allowed to build on it if you hold that incentive token. So it's kind of like, okay, you do want to sell it, but you also want to hold on to it so you can have some, like you can voice your concerns, right, within the network. Because by holding the Pulse X, you're going to have the voting rights in the DAO, right? I think that's going to be the token for voting on the DAO. But if you have the if you're getting that incentive token in yield, you could essentially make a use case for it where you have some other voting on these launch pads. It's very exciting, man. There's so much. There's so many.
The whole thing's so exciting. Like in a couple months, Pulse Chain's going to be out, and it's just going to be fireworks, and watching these charts and just seeing things like do 20x's in like an hour and stuff, because some whale came in and bought it up or what. I don't know, man. It's going to be mental. I might have to get back into trading again. Like I might just put a little bit of everything to one side and just make it my like trading bag and see what I can do with it, just for a laugh, because there's going to be so much opportunity. Yeah, probably like a couple of days and it's gone. No, I don't know. When you trade spot, it's usually okay as long as you don't get scammed. I could probably trade spot forever and just kind of stay the same amount of money and never really make any,
But we've got so many people now that are in this for the long haul too, right? Like there's like, I think Pulse Chain might not dump as hard as people think it will after its big run up because there's so few people in it next to Pulse X. And all these people, like, so back to the Godwell for a minute with that liquid loans thing, like that guy's not selling for at least 2 years because he delayed. Right. So even with that token, even though people might say it's a new thing, like if he's going to own the majority of the supply, because he'll probably be the biggest wallet, I guess, depending on what the team has or whatever. But yeah, he's locked in for 2 years. He doesn't even see his coins for 2 years. And how many people that are sacked for Pulse and Pulse X are won't even sell right off the hop? Like maybe some profits get their principal back, but I don't think we're going to get too many.
I think a lot of people will sell, especially the longer it took and the longer it will take for it to come out. People that aren't really Hexicans and aren't really in the ecosystem like that, don't really believe in it, especially since it took a long time, they're going to sell, especially if they see like a 10x in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. Do you mean like if people...
Just because it took a long time, like for example, someone that I was just thinking of my dad, like I told him it was coming out in 2 months, and that was back in July, right? And he just keeps talking about it like, oh, it's never coming out. And I know there's people.
I've got a couple
like
of people footing me as well, like it's never coming out, Yeah. And I'm just like, yes, it will, man. What are you talking about?
Relax.
Just chill, man. Just chill.
There's gonna be people. There's not everyone that sacked, not everyone that sacked is probably a diehard Mexican. So they'll sell in the beginning when they see a 10x, a 5x, especially if they waited a long time and they're pissed about it.
But could you imagine though, if just like, well, I had to wait an extra 3 months, I'm selling this shit.
Yeah.
unless it depends on everyone's situation is different too, right? They might be having tough times, want to get their principal back, or I don't know. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I ain't selling, I'll tell you that.
No, I mean,
I'm not selling nothing. I'm just a net buyer.
I'm just
a net buyer for a while. Until I'm a millionaire, I'm a net buyer. And that is simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I saw that Pulse X strategy, I'm like, this is if that incentive token does have some really cool use case where people are incentivized to hold it, because you can't just keep staking things over and over and over again, right? Eventually, it's just like, well, we'll do something to stake
you got to
this.
sell
You have-
something sometime.
Well, you got to sell the incentive token, no? I mean,
Well, that's what I mean, right?
it's
So if the
the worst
incentive
value
token,
proposition out of all of them, I think, right?
yeah, but that's why. So it's like, okay, you stake Pulse X, okay, I get an incentive token. Well, that's inflationary because everyone who's staking Pulse X is just going to be
Yeah.
able to receive this incentive token as a reward. But what does it do?
Yeah. I mean, there'll be some value adding to it that he'll build into it. I don't think we know what it is yet, but I think people are going to sell that one first before they sell Pulse X or Pulse Chain or Hex. But
We
we'll
keep
see what
forgetting
happens.
about all the like the 3-to-1 numbers still though. Like this staking option has changed the game for people swapping to Pulse Chain before. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's gonna be nuts.
Let
We're
me
all
just
gonna
tell
be
you
rich,
this.
man.
I'm not going to be selling Pulse X for Pulse unless it's like maybe a 1-to-1 ratio or roundabouts a 1-to-1 ratio, because I don't feel like I bought enough Pulse Chain. Like I didn't sacrifice enough for Pulse Chain. But Pulse X, I really went in. So I've got like a lot more of that than the other one. So if I can get like a 1-to-1 ratio, then yeah, maybe I send a little bit over and get a bit more of that. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think everyone's going to sell down the Pulse X to get into the Pulse Chain. But then what's going to happen is the Pulse X is going to pump harder, and all those people who traded are going to get wrecked, and they're going to be holding the smaller bag.
You just got to
The
sit
unit
on your
bias
hands.
is
Hope so.
ruined. Yeah, you just got to do nothing. Just buy stuff. If you haven't got it. So like, I'm just going to go in dollar cost average Pulse Chain. I'm going to wait a few days, see if it dumps. As soon as it starts dumping, I'll just start putting in like a little bit of money every day or something.
I'm in the same boat as you. I got, let's say if I got 100% bag, I got 92% in Pulse X and like 8% in Pulse Chain.
Yeah, mine's about the same.
Yeah, I think I did like
about the
9
same,
times
man.
more in Pulse X than I did for Pulse Chain. So
I think mine was 49 times more Pulse X.
Yeah, this is the ultimate first world problems we're talking about here too. It's like I'm only getting 10 million of these things.
I mean,
or 100 million.
nah,
of these
but
things.
like
And
it could be a lot of money if you do the right move and you don't do
for
the right
sure.
move. You know, it could be millions of dollars in 5 years if you just played it right. But
Just sit on your hands, do nothing. Just stake it all, earn
yeah,
some
exactly.
yield. That's all you got to do. Just chill. Just sit back and chill. Okay, what do we got up
Just
next?
chill. That is it.
What's next on
That
the
is
thing here? Oh, let's talk about. You want to talk about Russia there, Hexy? And crypto?
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's bullish for crypto. Like,
That's what.
sorry
Yeah, I
to
don't.
all those
We can
affected
talk
out
about
there and
it.
everything like
Don't worry.
that. But
I don't care
you
if the
brought up the
channel
Russia
gets shut
thing.
down. I was saying we can talk about it. I got some Russia stuff here. What do I have? Oh, that's Canada. Maybe I don't have Russia.
Same place. It's the same place. They're the same.
I mean, the thing
I
is,
have
it's
this
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
No, I just wanted. I was just thinking for crypto in general how, because it's weird. Like if people know, if I can see the people that hate it, I can see the banks being like Putin's using Bitcoin. We gotta do something about this. And it's like, well, what argument are we gonna make here? Are people gonna make to show people how stupid they are when they make these types of claims? Like, look at the money coming in right now to donations to Ukraine. I think it was $15 million in Bitcoin coming in. And if Putin gets kicked out of SWIFT, isn't he just gonna have to need to rely on whatever they have in crypto holdings there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they might just buy the fuck out of crypto as a result. Well, but what I was going to say is just in terms of like the sensationalization of the whole thing, like no one will ever really know the truth of what's going on over here. And it's very difficult to associate that properly. And it kind of sounds like FUD. You know, when you hear like China shutting down Bitcoin miners or America's going to ban Bitcoin or whatever, you know, when you hear these things, and I know this is a real event or whatever that's going on, but like, it just feels like one of them things. And someone posted a buy the invasion chart, right? And I know this is a little bit of a sad thing, but it's just finance.
Oh,
Someone posted a buy the invasion dip chart, right? There's always this little dip when the
war
invasion
starts.
happens.
Yeah.
And then every time except for one, it's just mooned like crazy straight after, and that's like stocks, bonds, whatever you name it. Yeah, everything goes.
Well, they got to
up like
find money
crazy.
now. They got to find money to fund the war efforts, right?
It's because they go into hyperinflation mode when wars
Yeah.
start and stuff like that. They just start printing money out their arse, and everything just there's money everywhere, so everything just gets pumped, and that's what happens with stocks. And people think that Bitcoin's like decorrelated, but Bitcoin kind of follows the stock chart. It follows like the S&P 500 a little bit and stuff. It's just more volatile, but it kind of goes up at the same time they're going up and down when they go down. Because the COVID dip proved that. Like people thought it was uncorrelated, and then COVID happened, and Bitcoin dipped 60% or something like in a week.
So what would you guys say, each of you, to someone that you're trying to get into crypto? Say they're a no coiner and they're like, well, I heard that crazy Putin has it, so I'm staying away from it.
Well, to onboard him,
Sure,
if they heard
just in
about
general.
crypto, I would just say if you look at the top two cryptos, Bitcoin went up from 1 cent to 69,000 in like 13 years. Ethereum, number 2 crypto, 35 cents to 4.9K, 6-7 years.
That's just what I'm hoping for, is that people can just separate their emotions from the price chart, like you just said, or from the technology of what it can do and how important it is to be in control of your own money and your privacy. And I think this last 3 weeks in particular, with the stuff that happened in Canada leading up to Russia, I think people are really starting to realize, okay, they tried. Like we had Canada going out, reaching out to crypto exchanges, telling them to not promote self-custody of their wallets, because Canada tried, saying, like, I don't know if you guys saw it. I think I'm pretty sure I posted it. The one article of the they're writing an article. They wrote a letter back to the Ontario Supreme Court of Justice because they were saying we need to know where all these people are, right? We need to know. Sorry, not where they are. We need to know if you can like freeze their funds if they come out. And we're like, look, we don't do that. The only info we have on our customers is their email address, and we can't freeze any assets. We don't know where their assets are. That is their shit to deal with. You cannot touch that. So I think this is going to be a big year for crypto. I really feel.
Well, I was going to bring that up earlier, like the Canada thing. If anything, right, if you just forget the Russia gate, whatever's going on there, the Canada thing alone is bullish for crypto, in my opinion.
Well,
like,
that's why
that governments are shutting down banks and things like this.
That's why it's so interesting, because it's like, okay, so picture the people that are sympathetic to Canadians that had their accounts frozen. It's like, what was the solution? Bitcoin or crypto? Sorry, crypto. Oh, if they just froze all of Putin's assets, what's the solution? Crypto.
Yeah, literally.
It's kind of like, and so I really hope we're gonna have to educate people on that don't know any better, because they're just gonna use the old narrative like, oh, it's used to buy drugs or to fund terrorism or any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin had all that FUD for years, didn't it? This is the thing. Like, I mean, it was literally the currency of the dark web. You could hire hitmen with it and shit like that, right?
Whoa.
But it survived the FUD. It survived all of it.
Oh, I know it's still there, but you're still gonna get. But think about, if you look at the time frame of crypto, like DeFi is now the new thing. It feels like we're getting into this new world here with better blockchains and Pulse Chain, where DeFi is only going to get better, and better. And when you have these lending protocols and you have people earning yield on delegating their money or staking Hex or whatever it is, you're going to start pulling money away from other institutions. Right, you're gonna start bleeding people out, and then I think you're gonna get a real kickback. It's like, well, this shit's not a joke anymore, because people are gonna be pulling their funds in droves. Yeah. I think they were scared. I think they were scared last week because the Trudeau thing, the Emergencies Act, once it was invoked, all the blockades were down, the supply chains were back open. Oh my god, I just lost my train of thought now. Shit, sorry guys. Shit. I totally forgot
Canada,
what I was about to say there.
The best country.
I know. I can't. Where was I before that? I totally just lost my train.
Mango Jungle says in the chat, blame Canada.
Okay. Oh my god, I literally can't remember. Oh, something about our money. Okay, this is could be total bullshit, so do not quote me on this, right? But they're thinking one thing that could have happened was, once this Emergencies Act started, it was supposed to be in place for 30 days, okay? But we had a lot of recourse from a lot of people around the world, just like calling him out for what he wasn't an idiot for doing this, and people started pulling their funds out of their bank accounts. And if you notice, people don't get interest rates on their bank accounts anymore, right? You don't earn any yield for having money in your
Not really,
savings
no.
accounts. So the theory is that
0.01%.
since all of our money is used as leverage anyways, for them to print more money, if people start pulling out all their money out of their bank accounts, there goes your leverage, right? So that act was just, it was like the next day, it's like, oh, by the way, yeah, we're canceling the Emergencies Act. It's over
Banks
now.
are
Don't worry
wrecked,
about
mate. The
Yes.
banks are wrecked. They are
Yes.
so over collateralized. It's unreal.
That's what I mean, though, right? People start pulling their funds out because you pull this crap for a fringe minority, by the way. Like, never been done before.
Do you know one of the things that started causing at least the public panic end of the recession that happened back in the 2008, I think it was, in the UK? It was basically, there was one bank, Northern Rock, where like just a couple too many customers came to try and withdraw their money, right?
Mhm.
And they couldn't get it because they didn't have the money. And this caused a panic. And then everyone started going and trying to get their money. Now, I'm sure this wasn't the cause of the recession, but in terms of like being a member of the public and not really involved in, you know, financial sector, whatever, this was like what caused the public panic. And then you would have queues outside these Northern Rock banks, right? The Bank of England had to come in and bail them out and do all of this shit. But that just goes to show you how fragile all of these banks are, because it would only take maybe 0.5% of people going in and being like, hey, can I take 50% of my savings out? So that's basically 0.25% of the money, right?
Mhm.
If some people went in and wanted to withdraw even that tiny fraction of it, the whole banking system would collapse of each network of banks. You know, we've got like 5 major banks in the UK, yeah? Any of those banks gets like 0.25% withdrawal request, they're going under. Like literally, they don't
And so
have
what
the
happens
money.
in that instance? Can you imagine when it comes to that? When people are like, no, I do want my money out, and they're going to say no. They're going to say no.
Bro, I have like no money in my bank account. All my money is in crypto. Literally. Like I keep the money that I need in there for the stuff that I need, but then everything else just gets shoved into crypto.
I think once Pulse Chain launches, I'm just gonna have move more and more because I'm gonna be DCAing like a mofo for Hex on Pulse Chain and just get like all my paychecks coming in. Yeah, see you later. Go to Hex. Go to Hex. Go to Hex.
Yep.
Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse checks, whatever, and have everything staked out to the gills, receiving yield, and that is my dream right there. Like having 4 or 5 coins just bringing you yield all the time. It's gonna be incredible.
You're gonna be able to live off your principal in a few years, man. Like I
not the
hope I
principal,
never
the
sell
yield.
a single principal.
The yield.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to live off your yield, not your principal.
Yeah.
You're never going to sell your principal. Like this is the aim, right? It's just to
That's
get
what I
enough
mean when
yield.
That's what I meant earlier when I said like you're gonna get Hex can get to a point where you're not gonna want to sell it. It's gonna hurt you to sell it. You'd be like, oh, I don't want to. Like if you don't have to, you know what I mean? If you need, you're buying a house, whatever. Congratulations, that's amazing. You got to do a big market sell, be the red candle everyone doesn't like. That's great. That's amazing for people if they go in there and they're buying a house and then they have enough left over to live off the yield. That's what it's designed for.
Yeah.
Over time, that big store of value, like you're not gonna want to sell it. It's gonna kill you too.
I can really see a world in the future where Hex is worth more than the price that it's quoted at, if that makes sense, because there's going to be certain businesses that understand that value of time and are willing to lock up their Hex for a while, right, when they get it. So there are going to be businesses that will be willing to take Hex as like a discount. They'll give you a discount if you pay in Hex because they have a parameter set up in their head that everything they get, they lock it up for 2 years or they lock it up for 5 years or they do whatever with it every time they get a payment, or they just bulk it together and they lock it up for a period of time. So to them, it's actually worth more, not because of the price appreciation, but because of the yield that you can get off it over time. So even if the price doesn't move, they're still up like 20%. It just depends on the type of business. It's not going to be right for everyone. But also another one as well, I think there's a huge gap in the market for some kind of easy, usable mobile app privacy coin, like where I could just pay you, and it's kind of like cash. I could just pay you phone to phone, no KYC, no, no links to you. Well, as little as possible or whatever. Like, I know there are privacy coins out there.
Would it still be through a wallet?
It would have to be.
I know Apple's doing that, but it's not crypto related. You'll be able to just like put your phone on someone else's phone and just pay them whatever you owe them.
Yeah, but there'll be a paper trail with that. I'm talking
Yeah.
privacy, like almost like
privacy,
handing you
okay.
a $5 bill or something. Yeah, just and maybe in order to top this up, you could sell like cards. Like like mobile phone top up cards. You can go to a shop and you buy like the little thing, and then you have to dial the number, and it puts the credit on your phone. Kind of something like that, where you go on your app and then you type in the serial number of the thing, and then you've just got like $5 worth of this thing or whatever at the current price, whatever it is. I don't know, man. I just feel like the way the world's going, we kind of need that, like, as time goes on, because like blockchain's great and everything, but it's all fully tracked. So you're not really escaping no governments or anything like that, are you? Because if they know your wallet address, they can track everything you've ever done anyway.
Yeah.
So it's actually almost worse in a sense, in terms of
and they're gonna
privacy.
get better at that. Like they'll get better at tracking addresses too. They'll just be watching everyone all the time. But didn't Richard talk about this, or he tweeted about this last week when he was saying, like, if you're trying to play employees, right, you need to come up with a system where you aren't seeing what every employee is making too.
Yeah, exactly. It's things like that. Like, there's no privacy because, say for example, you Hexter, like, oh, you're a good guy. I want to give you 100 quid for this thing that you did for me. Yeah. I don't want to send you 100 quid because then say I've got like millions and millions and millions of dollars in my wallet, right? I don't want you to know that I've got millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Just to send you 100 quid. So, because like if I send you money from my bank, you don't see my bank balance. You don't see who I've been transacting with or where I got my money from, or, and then you can link that back to your KYC as well. Because if you've initially deposited ETH from your, say, Coinbase wallet, right? That's KYC'd. So every wallet that's associated with that wallet, they're just going to tie to you anyway. So I think they're already on this shit. I think the government is tracking everyone's wallets already. Or there are things out there that are doing it, right? They might not be using it yet, but they are monitoring people, man. Maybe not everyone, but they are monitoring people.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. They're brutal.
Can you just use like those like Tornado Cash? What is that thing called? Where you can just
there's Hurricash as well, which is coming out. I kind of wanted to sacrifice for that actually, but I think I'm like right at the end of the bonding curve thing now, so I don't know if it's worth doing anymore.
What about they could do it. What have you guys looked into Gerardo's thing at all, the Mintra stuff? What do you guys think of that? Any original thoughts?
I'm going to be honest, man. Opinions? I don't give a flying fuck about NFTs, so I will not be participating in that.
I don't either. I don't care about NFTs, but I still think if the argument seems to be, or everyone seems to be in agreement that we need users, right? On Pulse Chain.
Yeah.
And if NFTs is going to bring traffic in, I think it's going to be net positive. So I think it is needed, unless Richard wants to build it like he said he would. So I don't know if they've talked or anything like that, but I think
Gerardo is a real smart guy, and I think he will pull it off, whatever he's going to do. But it's just for me, man, there's other things that are there that I just feel are going to do so much better, and they're more secure investments as well, man. Like when you're trying to make your way up through the ladder, if you're kind of a beginner like I am, you want to go with the sure things that you know are going to do well. So that's why I don't want to chuck money at random things that I don't care about.
Oh no, I
wasn't invested emotionally as well. I
didn't explain it well enough. I wasn't talking about investing in it. I just talking in general about people coming over. Like as that's
so great, man.
Yeah. Because I reached out to him and I said, I congratulated him. Like, hey man, it's really good what you're doing. Like, he's a young kid and he's trying to build something, right? He started a channel. He got to do a short interview with Richard Hart. Like, it's inspiring. It should be inspiring for some people that want to get into stream or build.
Richard Hart pulled out his charts on the Peter.
Yeah,
they're
right? Exactly. Right. So that's a big thing. So I'm not talking about investing in it. I'm just talking about it as a product in general. Would it help? Like, I think it can only help bring people over if Pulse Chain has its own NFT marketplace. Because there's so many people that are into that. That's what I meant. Not about not sacking for it or anything like that.
Well, that's one of the main reasons that Solana got popular, right? Because of the certain NFTs that they had over there that weren't on ETH. And it was cheaper to play on and stuff like that. Like most of the people I know who have any Solana, it's because they went and bought this NFT off of it. Because there was a couple that they did over there that were like really popular. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, totally, man. It's going to bring in users, 100%.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's
There is
definitely
one
good.
thing I want to touch on there, actually, is all this maximalism and like, don't build on Pulse. We don't want anyone building on Pulses. Richard Hart projects. And I hate that. You guys who are doing that, you need to pull your fucking head out of your own arse, mate. Simples.
For
I
sure.
think with that, sorry, Dan, you were going to say something earlier.
No, I was going to agree with you guys. I think it's good for the community. It's going to bring new eyes to Pulse Chain for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with what Hexy just said, but let's look at the positive side of that, right? We've been waiting so long for this stuff, and we've been trained by Richard and all the OGs and everybody else that comes in. We know what to look for when products are coming in, right? So it's great that we're going to vet the shit out of everybody. We're going to ask all the right questions. Show me the code. Show me the audits. Who are you? Are you showing your face? Are you coming on streams? Are you facing the tough questions? I think all that'll still be there, and that's going to be needed. But on the other hand, if Richard Hart has inspired you to do something, if Richard Hart, let's say this, I never was going to come on camera before and stream because I didn't feel like I was big enough in the community or anything like that, right? I wasn't an OG, but I was like, no, you need to get out there. You need to talk to people. He inspired me to do that. If he inspires one of these guys to make a really good product, write really good code, maybe it becomes amazing, right? Give him the benefit of the doubt. Do your research still. Grill the shit out of everybody. Like, you're dealing with people's money here. But if you're somebody that Richard Hart's inspired, well, maybe one of these people that's come in with Hedron or Mintra or Liquid Loans or whatever else is going to, like, the thousands of other things coming. Maybe he's inspired some of those people too. Like, that makes sense.
I'm the same as you, man. Richard Hart inspired me to do whatever I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, but whatever I'm doing,
either, but I love it,
to
though.
do it as well.
Like, you think I want to be out here making stupid videos? Yeah, because I like that shit. It's fun. And if it makes people laugh and takes their mind off of all the fighting we've seen recently, like,
yeah, I know, man. All the infighting and all this like maximalism and just like hating on projects that try and approach the system. I just think it's really bad long term, guys. You gotta give people a chance, like you were saying, give them the benefit of the doubt, man. And then work backwards from that, like accept and then work backwards and then start asking the good questions. Don't just be like, audit or I ain't gonna fucking talk to you. You know, because that's not how it works, man. You got to have dialogue. Like, Hedron changed a lot in the last, like, I was in that chat when there was like 100 people in there.
Me too, man. I was there when there was like 40 people, I think. I was there real early to Hedron.
And the idea of that has changed over time because of the input from the community. So you need that input in order, because you as one person aren't going to have all the answers, but you might hear a couple of ideas from the people who ask you the questions, and then that develops the idea, right? So,
because who's to say that? What if somebody comes in and it doesn't want to buy any of the RH stuff on Pulse Chain, but wants to buy some other protocol, or like Liquid Loans or Minch or whatever, and then they see how amazing the community is, and they understand Hex because they talk to more people, and then maybe they sell and they take a lot of those profits and dump it into Hex, right? Like, you can't turn aside potential customers or potential users. I think customers is the wrong word. Users. You can't turn that aside, right? You can't choose your family, right?
Yeah,
you can't.
You can't, but we are a family, man.
We are a family, right? You can choose
Pulse
your friends.
Chain is kind of like the degenerate half of the family, right? So I don't know. It's going to be weird how they're kind of like the cousins that turn up, and
this will be our job. Jimrat Crypto, all these guys that we're doing more laid back stuff now. It seems like I think it's great, and it's going to bring more people in, and it's just like we got to be here to quelch the noise a bit and just keep everyone said just chill out. But also people that if Richard Hart retired you, let's say that, right? There's a ton of Hexicans that are retired. What do you think you would be feeling towards other projects coming in?
Oh, I'd be chucking a little bit of money at all of them.
No, sorry, not you're chucking. Like, if you're someone that Richard Hart retired a year and a half ago, or they're retired now, like, you would feel indebted to him for life, probably. Would you not?
Oh, right. Yeah, see what you mean now.
Right.
So
go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say, you can't just, if you're indebted to Richard Hart, you can't just hate every project that comes out. You're gonna be like those posters out there, you know?
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is that could maybe be part of a reason. I'm speculating, obviously, but I'm just saying, if I had gotten into Hex day one and I was retired And I'd be like, well, no, I'm not going to shill anything else. Like, this guy retired me. Like, I respect him way too much. I never have to work a day again in my life. Like, it's amazing. Why would I want to touch anything else when these things have done so well? And they're still going to do incredibly well, right? Like, like I said to you guys earlier, my biggest bags, 85% of my bags, let's say, are in the Hex, Pulse X, and Pulse Chain. For sure. Because they're amazing. But I just think that could be a reason. If you've been with Richard since day one, or even before Hex, you were in the Hex when they got delayed and you're waiting for it.
4
and you
more
were
weeks.
retired. 4 weeks.
Yeah.
2 more months.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
There's always different sides of the story. That's all I'm saying, right?
Because as like a newbie, I'm like, yeah, I wanna make gains, right? I need the gains.
Yeah, you want to make gains.
Do you know what, Randy? Do you know Randy? He's been on a discourse a couple times. No, not Hilarski. Sorry, English Randy. He was on my stream yesterday for a bit. He's been on discourse a couple of times as well, I think.
He drinks a lot. Is that Randy?
Sorry,
he drinks a lot.
I don't know. Maybe he does. He did have a beer with me, so yeah, maybe. Got like big curly hair and stuff, like black curly hair. But anyways, he basically said that at the beginning, when you get off in crypto, and I love this analogy, right? When you're starting out, you're offensive, right? You're looking for the gains. You need that maximum, like absolute moonage, and you want the fucking gains, right? But then when you get the gains and you're in that position where you say got a couple million, you go into defensive mode and you're like, I just want to protect this wealth now. I don't want to potentially lose any of it. I just want to protect it. So perhaps that's kind of like tying into what you're saying there, that like the people who've been retired, they don't want to risk anything on something that isn't Richard Hart because they really trusted Richard Hart and it worked for them. So perhaps they're feeling a bit defensive about their gains and they don't want to risk any of them now.
Yeah, you just got to go with what works.
I'm totally
you mad gains.
Yeah, no, you make a good point, but I just mean that what would it feel like? None of us are retired, so we can't speak to how that feels when like someone you've met and maybe follows you on Twitter or whatever has literally changed your life. Like that is life changing, right? And so to be someone that have had your life changed by one person, we can't really say how we would react and how we would feel. I think I would maybe feel defensive. It's like, well, who is this guy trying to build something on this guy's chain that retired me? You know, I don't know. We're just talking out loud here. Like, I just think important for us when we get in all this fighting and projects come out, just try and be empathetic for everyone's side of the situation. You know.
Yeah, you don't want to like hate on a project and then that project goes on to do 10,000x in 5 years, and then you just screwed a whole bunch of people over by talking crap about, for example, Maddie talked crap about Hedron, right? So
yeah, I mean, well, what he said
blows up, and then Hex blows up as well.
That's big FUD, man. That's ultimate FUD. The OA is going to admin key your stakes, and you're going to get wrecked. Come on, man! Like that, I would lose all faith in the OA. I'm sorry, but I would not all, but I would lose a ton of faith in the OA if they did that, because they'd be wrecking like so many of their own users. It would be totally unethical, man.
Yeah,
they haven't broken the code, they haven't broken the contract, they've done nothing.
Well, especially when it's just the read only. Like you're not encapsulating your stakes, you're not wrapping them, getting ready to sell somewhere.
Yeah.
You're literally
it's not affecting them in any way. It's just looking at them and going, "Oh, you've got one of them. Here's some free money."
Because think of this: if I have a 5-year stake, let's say in 5 years, and I mint all that Hedron, and Hedron's worth whatever, I'm going to sell the Hedron before I sell the Hex. I guarantee you that, right?
Oh yeah.
So like why like that to me that's net positive for Hex, because you're like the token distribution model for Hedron is stake Hex. That's the only way you can make it. That's it. So if you're sitting there staking it and you can sell at the end and not even touch did you start rolling over your inflation? It's going to be amazing. It could be amazing.
I really think there's going to be a time where Hex and Hedron are like spoken of hand in hand. Like they're kind of like complement each other so much. They're like, so like the Hex price moons more because of the Hedron, and the Hedron is the thing that you sell, right? And you take your liquidity out, and potentially it's going to stop a lot of mega dumping happening in the future, right? If people can get good value out of that Hedron without touching the Hex, guess what, guys? They probably won't touch the fucking Hex. They'll just keep getting the free Hedron forever.
You will never sell it if you don't have to.
Never selling. never just never selling anything, mate. Like that's the aim, right? You don't want to sell your trifecta. You don't want to sell the pulse. You don't want to sell the pulse X, and you don't want to sell the hex. So anything else that comes along that's going to allow you to extract value out of that without actually selling it, fucking brilliant, mate. I'm all about that shit.
Oh yeah. What else we got up
It's
here?
gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. 2 more months. What are we thinking still? Well, let's go for those predictions real quick. What do you think, Dan, for Pulse Chain?
The date it comes out probably.
Sure.
I'm thinking May now, something like that. May.
You're thinking May. Hexy, what do you think, bud?
Next month.
You think next month, like March?
Next month, March.
Ooh.
I'm hoping, I'm praying, because I'm fucking bored lately. I want to do something.
He wants to trade.
I want to do some trading again. Yeah, I want to lose all
I
my
want to
money.
trade. Yeah, I want to trade with cheap fees. That's what we need it for.
Yeah,
cheap
mate.
fees. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Hedron was bouncing up and down like fucking 4x today. Like if Ethereum was only a couple of pennies to trade on, right? I would be buying and
that.
selling just having a little laugh on it. Like it wouldn't even matter.
So
because I'm excited about it, watching the chart anyway.
So you are gonna get a moon bag, you think?
Oh yeah. I do that anyway. Mate, if Ethereum was cheap to trade on, I'd be trading on it every day, probably.
Yeah.
But I'd still have like maybe 95+% of my wealth like locked up in Hex and staked and in Pulse Chain and Pulse X and whatever. Like I would only be trading with like a small amount, in all honesty.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah. What about me? Am I trading?
You gonna get a Hedron moon bag or anything?
I was thinking about buying some, but maybe $100 worth. But probably not. I'll just sit on what it is for now.
I think my mate told me he bought 70 million Hedron for $100.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's 5 zeros and a 1. So
yeah.
if I do the
I
math.
swapped some ETH yesterday, I think for $50 of it, just to have it. Like I went and I ran all the claims, and then I had some ETH left over. Like, yeah, might as well. I had a moon bag, just sit on it, see what happens to it. It's so early, right?
$100 gets you
3
100
days?
million. Around
100 million. See, just the unit bias alone, right? Because 100 million, if that goes to a penny, what's that? That's 100 grand, right?
No, it'll be more than that.
No, it's
penny?
100.
Or is it
1 million.
1 million.
Is it a million?
Yeah.
See, $100.
but is it
if
gonna
it
go
hits
to
a penny
penny?
one day, it's 100. It's a million. Why could you not? How could you not throw £100 at that? Like,
people won't. This is the people just. I don't know if it's people just don't believe it for any of this stuff. Like, look at Hex, $500 into Hex 2 years ago. Like, you're laughing now. I remember.
Bro, I know people who retired off £500 worth of Hex. Like that's what they bought.
T-shirts used to be 15 cents at one point. 5-cent T-shirts at one point. Like, are you kidding me?
I know, man. I never seen a
T-shirt
T-shirt less than like $1,500, mate.
Well, because your day, you said you were day 5 something, right? So a T-shirt
537, I think it was.
So what was a T-shirt then? 17,000-ish, 17,000 Hex around then.
Yeah, probably. It was. Yeah, about 17,000 Hex, maybe a little less. And
they're only going up. They only ratcheting it up, boys.
It's at 21 now, isn't it? 21 and a half.
I think it's
maybe?
right below 20. I think it's 20,900 or something. You have it there, Dan?
No, I'll put it up.
T-shirt.
Pull it up. I'm scared to use the internet.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Then. What about let's talk?
I'm scared to use the internet too, buddy.
No, because
shit on the internet.
My computer lags, so like right now.
Let's get your guys' thoughts on the debate we had last week. Peter Schiff debate.
Oh, Peter Schiff got wrecked, mate. Hey.
There we go.
God, he looks so miserable, doesn't he?
When
he said his age as well, like he was like, "I'm not even 50." It's like, bro, you look like in your late 60s, man. What's going on?
How can you defend that position? It's like, well, the price. Well, what was the question? So what is your main argument that Bitcoin is better than gold? Is like, just look at the price chart, bro. Like, well, yeah, you're looking at the 40-year price chart.
Yeah, who says that? And he's like, yeah,
Richard did one
I'm
of these,
only
like,
40 years old, bro.
Yeah,
like,
how far back should I go? How far back should I go?
Well, there's a young lad in our Hex UK group, and he posted something funny. I think he's about 20 years old. He said if I'd have bought $1,000 of gold, and he was born like around the bottom as well, like the absolute bottom of gold. he would have made, if he put $1,000 in, he'd have $7,000 today. Like a lifetime worth of gains for like 7x.
Put that money to work. Put that money to work.
Jesus Christ.
Like I said, I seen Hedron do a 3x earlier today or something. Like,
yeah, but that
in a
goes away
day.
pretty fast. What
Yeah,
about
of course, but it's just the volatility. Like you're never going to make real gains in something like gold. It moves like a fucking snail.
Yeah, that's why I love the time horizon. Like just being locked in, like that saying. Whoever made it up, like I can't remember who. Was it Warren Buffett? Time in the market beats time in the market. It's totally true. Totally true.
Yep.
That's why Hex is so friggin' nice, man. But the other thing with Peter, like, yeah. So and then I checked because I responded to one of his tweets the other day. He goes, well, like the debate went well with Richard. But judging by the comments in my responses, like Richard Hart won, but I think it's all these Hexicans coming to his defense. I'm like, dude, you got 700,000 people following you on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, some crazy number. Richard has maybe 183,000. Like, where are your heroes to come back you up?
Yeah.
You got wrecked.
But he didn't have a valid argument. He just kept saying it was a bubble. And I know I missed out on the 6.9 million X, but one day it's going to go to 0. I know that it's been going for 13 years, but
I know.
one day it's going to go to 0.
It's like the scam. It's like the scam argument. Like I have saved tweets. I literally have. Like, how many of us are going to get all these pop-ups in the next few months of like remind me of this in a year tweets from people that are just shitting all over Hex?
Yeah.
Right? Like the one guy goes, "Yeah, we'll see. Talk to me in 5 years." And it's like, well, at what point is this argument over? Like,
so are you going to potentially miss out on 5 years worth of amazing gains because you want to see it happen first? Like, it doesn't work like that, bro. Like,
and the other thing with Hex, like, you just go to what is it, hexview.com or what's the website again for the going to Hex?
Hex.vision.
Hex.vision. Thank you. When he's saying all this stuff, like all these people have this Hex locked up and it's gonna dump. It's like, well, then if you're that scared, go to Hex.vision. Look when set a stake a couple months before a bunch of Hex is due to come back into the market. Protect yourself like that and then sell.
Yeah.
You're fine. All the on-chain data is right there. That's a big thing for people when I show them that. I onboarded 3 new guys the other night actually at work because I got a guy into crypto a few months ago and I mentioned Hex to him and he's like, oh yeah, I've actually been starting to hear more about this thing. And I walked him through it and I showed him Hex.vision and I showed him go.com/stake or gohex.com/stake so I could show them how to set up the ladders and all that stuff. And once they see it, people just need to see this stuff. It's game changing for people, man. It's truly game changing. When they could see like, oh, look at this in 2023, there's 1 billion Hex expiring in this month here. That's huge for people to see. So
these arguments run people a little bit. Like it's not hard, man.
Well, you're going to front run people. We're all like, that's the whole goal. And then you get to a spot over time where it's all going to be, maybe it'll level out at some point, right?
Yeah, it will smooth. Yeah, over time it will rise up to meet it because more people will be
more users in the system, and they're going to be staking away from all these big expirations. You might see a big dip off of stakes expiring after some a huge amount of supply comes back into circulation. But like time heals all wounds, right? It's over time. It's gonna level off. But his argument back to Peter, his argument with like a savings account, it's like, oh, okay, this is the argument, like 5%. It was the first thing they said in the debate. I think your 5% of your holding should be in gold. And Richard's like, this debate's nothing. Why are we debating something that you want to put 5% of your net worth into? Makes no sense to me.
For me, he just Peter didn't really have any good arguments against Hex. He said a couple things. And now there's one thing I wish Richard did do, which is when he was on about, he kept accusing Richard of selling Hex, right? And we all know Richard doesn't sell Hex, yeah? I think even if Richard's got his own personal bag of Hex that we don't know about, he is not selling that shit. The guy got 1 million ETH.
Where'd it go?
He got 1 million ETH, right? That went into his back pocket, and that's fine. That's the price that people paid, right, to get in and whatever. But the man got 1 million ETH, so therefore, I don't think he needs to sell any Hex. And before he got the 1 million ETH, he probably had 1 million Bitcoin, or well, maybe not 1 million, but you know what I mean. Probably had like 100,000 Bitcoin or something on those lines.
He put like a few $1 million and made the Bitcoin top at $30. So if you divide 30 by, let me do that.
And even if he
million.
does, it's his
And he
Hex
was
to do
mining
what he wants.
blocks, 50 Bitcoin blocks every few hours.
And he said he never sold any as well up until fairly recently. He kind of he said before, "Oh, I never sold it," but then recently he kind of changed his thing. So I think he did actually sell his Bitcoin.
Not all of his Bitcoin though.
Not all of it, I'm sure, but he did sell some of it, I believe.
Well, yeah, you need to extract value still to survive in the world,
Yeah.
right? Like at some points, but
yeah, it's billions of dollars he has. If you just put $1 million at $30, and now it's 40K.
Yeah, there you go, exactly.
It's a few billion, but
he knew when the top was at 65K or whatever it was at the
he
time.
probably sold that shit.
Yeah, I think he made the fucking top. That's why he could call it, bro, because he fucking made it. He
Maybe he
market
just make-
sold
maybe he
1,000
Dumped his
Bitcoin
bags
or
and went to
something.
Twitter. When it falls out of parabola.
yeah, the
When
parabola.
I make it fall out of the parabola.
We got the
Well,
best guy, man. We have the best.
That
we have
was
the best
funny though. He
founder.
was tweeting about the Bitcoin parabola, and then the same thing happened in Hex, and he just was
Hold on, I got
radio silent about it. And now we're like 8 months into a bear market in Hex.
What do you guys think goes through his head when you know he's just like he knows? Well, I think we're all cool with it too. Like dips are only temporary, right? Dips are part of the game. Do you think when he's not on Twitter, not live streaming, he's just going through Twitter sometimes on the shitter, just being like, look at these idiots. Look at these guys fighting and complaining. It's like, if you guys only knew, like, look at a chart for Christ's sake. Look at the dumps Bitcoin has had. Like, just calm down. Where are we at? 4 months of sideways movement now? 4 months going down?
I'm so
We've
happy
been
he
going down
owns like
since
90%
September,
of
bro.
it.
September, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like 7-8 months now that we've been in a bear market, technically.
It's been 84 years.
But you know what, man? I'm happy. I've never
Me
bought
too.
a Hex
I
for
bought
over
more.
20 cents. Like, I think the highest price I paid for Hex was about 18 cents.
Damn.
Mine was, 35 cents, I think, is my highest.
It was like, I think 42.
I've been very patient, man. I waited for the big red candles. But yeah, also it was the ETH fees that kind of locked me out of it as well, man. Because around the time it was like $90 to $120 to fucking buy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When ETH was at its top.
Man.
There are points where just sending
crazy.
ERCs were like $50 at some point. Just sending an ERC20 is like, are you kidding me? And then you have Vitalik back in the day talking about how it's ridiculous to even conceive of a internet transaction being costing you a few cents. There it is. Yes,
This guy.
check that out.
How is the guy even standing at the top of a cliff like that?
Dude,
like,
and
if it
it's
gets
windy
windy,
out
it's
there.
just gonna
Photoshop,
blow
man.
him
It's
up.
Photoshop. It's Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Green screen.
Yeah, stiff breeze would knock his ass over real quick, man. And then he had that creepy ass bear suit he was wearing last week somewhere at some convention or some shit.
Oh,
Yeah. And that guy sang that song to him. Richard commented on it, like when you need to go pee pee, but someone's singing to you.
Yeah.
And it's because this guy was singing him a song. As soon as he finished the song, he was like, "Oh, you're done. Okay, bye," and just walked up.
Wasn't they singing about ETH 2.0 or something like that when it comes in 6 years? I don't know what he was singing to him. He was singing something to him.
Oh, man.
Oh, ETH 2.0 is ages away, man.
They're
To be
just going to
honest,
fork Pulse Chain and tweak a little code, I think.
well, this is the thing. Pulse Chain is going to be better than ETH 2.0, and it's
Yeah.
going to arrive like 5-6 years earlier. So, like,
Oh, and
ETH's just wrecked me. It's
Yeah.
just destroyed at the moment. It can't be used. Even earlier on, man, paying like, if you want to buy, it's like $30 still. It sucks.
Yeah. It's
is
hard to
bad.
onboard, and it's hard for users to get on board, like to want to invest in something when you got to spend $30.
It's gonna be so
Even-
nice with the pulse chain though.
Yeah, the
Bruh.
Hex is gonna moon, man. It really will. Like right when it comes out, I think a lot of people are gonna buy Hex on Pulse Chain, and a lot of people that haven't really set their stakes yet. Because I know like some people that are new, a couple friends of mine, they won't stake till Pulse Chain comes out, just because they
Why?
don't want to stake on ETH.
Yeah, but you get so they would rather
I
have
don't-
liquid copies. Like, what if you
They're gonna
stake
get the
now-
liquid copy, move everything over to Pulse Chain, and
Okay,
then
but-
stake it all on there.
Why don't they stake now and claim the Hedron bonus on it, and then you get a copy of that plus your claim bonus on Pulse Chain.
Trust me, I try to get them to stake, but
Yeah, I don't get that at all because you're getting copies of your yield too.
Yeah.
Can you guys see the chat?
No.
I can't for some reason.
Oh man, right. So they're quoting Richard Hart things. This is funny, right?
Tell me
So
what are they saying?
Let
How
me
many
just
people
read
are
a
in that
couple of
chat?
these. There's like
God damn it.
5 or 6 people in here that I can see. I'm not sure how many are watching, but there's 5 or 6 people. So Red Squirrel, best person in crypto, called the top twice.
Yeah.
1
Called the
minute.
top
100% uptime, free books, $4 million in watchers, best logo, 27 million for charity, called the top on Bitcoin on the day.
What more do you want, right?
Will save your life. Biggest dick in crypto. 27 days later, Ethereum dropped 95%. It's so funny, man. I love our chats, you know.
Oh, we gotta get
have
these
the best
chats
chat
working.
all the time.
We're still working out kinks here on our end, but we're getting into it. We're finding a groove.
Can you not see it on this webpage that we're on then? No.
I don't know.
It was
Just
working
chilling, man.
before. Last stream, I
cheap.
was using another computer, and now I'm on this computer.
Oh, I can see it.
and-
I can see it. It's just too far away. 100%. Oh man, there's a lot of comments in here. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Story,
Yeah,
everyone.
but I was gonna say this segment may or may not be brought to you by RichardHart.com. He called the Bitcoin top twice.
Yeah. So when he makes those announcements, eventually we're gonna be making like I want to make little stingers, like little video clips. Like we'll go on
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
topic, and this section brought to you by Hexy Bastard. You can find him at then your handle and your show and all that stuff. Because we need to show
Yeah.
other people's shit. Be like, no, we don't talk about TA. Fuck it.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you like funny videos occasionally, like just for a laugh, and then if you ever want to use them, you can just do what you want with it.
Okay.
I'll send you a video of me on the toilet wearing the disguise or something. Like having
Do
a
it. Just staking, minting some hex there. It's like, what do you do for a living? I mint hex. Excuse me? Yeah, I mint hex. That's what I do. From the toilet. Or no, from your bathtub. Have a little glass of wine in there with a rubber ducky. Minting
Oh
your hex
yeah.
on a
Maybe in the
laptop.
bath. Maybe it'd be better doing it in the bath. Like I'll send you a video of me in the bath.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, God.
with the hat on.
Do you guys have anything else you want to go over? Because I'm gonna have to get going here soon. Gotta have dinner with the old lady.
Ooh, lovely. No, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a good laugh. Like I enjoy it.
Man, a great time. I'm so glad you
We'll
came
have to
on.
get you guys on my stream at some point as well. Yeah, happy days, mate. I've had a great time. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, if anyone is watching that wants to find me, it's just as I said earlier, Hexy Bastard on Twitter or YouTube, and you can find my dick joke channel.
Dan, chill yourself.
You can find me on Twitter, I guess. Remaining only one. That's it.
I'm there too.
That sounds familiar. Where have I heard this kind of terminology before? There's something only one.
Yeah,
That's so weird. It really rings a bell for me.
I'm glad.
on.
Speaking of only one, Wales name change was gold, by the way. The 8% thing.
Oh yeah. 8% for me, none for you. That was another bit of drama that was just
here we go.
Stupid and unnecessary, really.
This segment may or may not be brought to you by whalesonly.com, the premier chart destination for all your hex graphs. He done told you.
And now Dan done told you.
Told you.
All right, boys. Well, everybody have a great day. Let's have a good week. I expect.
Yeah, let's pump. We're gonna pump. Watch.
We're gonna pump this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are. Big
All right.
time.
And
Do we have
happy
an outro or
birthday to
anything?
Tap. We can do
everyone.
the same intro. Happy birthday, Tap. We love you.
Show. And once again, guys, Hexy Bastard, he hit the 1K sub. Congrats again, man. And we'll be in touch later throughout the week, boys. This was a fun one. Thanks a lot.
Is this London?
Easy, boys.
Yeah.
It's fucking London.
What are you, some sort of Hexakin?